Hello and welcome to today's information session about prospective new transfer students looking to join SVSU. My name's Jeff Zulauf. I'm Assistant Director of Transfer Operations. I've been employed by the Office of Admissions for 14 years now, and predominantly during my career, I have assisted potential transfer students looking to enroll at SVSU. I'm a two-time graduate of SVSU with my undergraduate earned in 2005 in communication, and in 2014 earning my master's degree in public administration with a concentration in student affairs administration. I'm a husband, I'm a father of 2 children, I'm an avid music fan, and a vinyl record collector. I have about 600 records in my basement right now. So today, we're going to explore transferring to SVSU, provide insight to you about transferring to SVSU, have a little fun along the way, and hope you join us in the future and soar with us as a future Cardinal. Let's get started. To begin, we first need to define who is a transfer student at SVSU. And to clarify, we're talking about domestic applicants here in this scenario. After the point of high school graduation, if you have attended and completed college credit at another college or university and have the intent to complete a bachelor's degree, you would then be classified as an undergraduate transfer student at SVSU. Nearly 25% of all SVSU undergraduates currently enrolled have transferred into SVSU at some point within their educational pathway in pursuit of a bachelor's degree. There's going to be a lot of information presented here today, so at any point throughout this presentation, we do encourage you to schedule an individualized admissions virtual appointment to meet with an admissions representative from the SVSU Office of Admissions, and we have multiple ways of how you can do that. First, online, you can go to svsu.edu/visit to book an appointment. You can call our front desk within the Office of Admissions at 989-964-4200, or you can email us at admissions@svsu.edu to discuss your transferring scenario in further detail. Here's a quick overview of how you could schedule an online virtual appointment with an admissions representative by going to our visit link off of our homepage, scrolling down to the admissions virtual appointment button, selecting the transfer student appointment button, scrolling down to an upcoming available date on our calendar to meet with an admissions representative at a given time on that selected date, scrolling down and providing your contact information and any special notes that you want to include, such as your intended major of study, for example. You can select the method of how you would like to meet. If you have a planned start term to the university, listing all of your previously attended institutions, and finally booking your appointment. So again, welcome to SVSU, our approachable, supportive, and friendly college campus nestled within the Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan. Standing strong at just over 8,000 inspired students enrolled within our Cardinal family, we encourage you to discover your passion. Now, this is the part of the program of what I like to call finding X and identifying the variables of transferring. First off, a simple question. What is a goal? Simply put, it is a desired future state. And an unexpected aha moment of childhood nostalgia helped to formulate the framework of today's presentation and how its content could be related to a domestic transfer student like yourself and your pursuit of a bachelor's degree. Now, if any of you like me grew up in the mid-1980s, early 90s, when cartoons were only on TV Saturday mornings and we didn't have cable either, or if you have a pulse on popular culture, you'll recognize the name Bill Nye the Science Guy. During our family car rides, we've been listening to podcasts recently, and randomly we turned on Bill Nye's Science Rules podcast for an episode about the topic of grit and why some people are successful over others. Dr. Angela Duckworth, an accomplished psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania who studies human motivation, was the guest on this episode, and I found the results of her research fascinating. I had never heard of the phrase finishative before, but it has stuck with me, and I thought to myself, what a perfect phrase to relate to a college transfer student. Immature interests develop over time into passion, and this passion leads to action and taking initiative. Like you've taken the initiative in this example to pursue a higher education. And now this transitional period that you're in of exiting one collegiate institution into SVSU You are now converting this initiative into finishative, with continued, sustained motivation to achieve the goal that you have originally set out to complete to earn a bachelor's degree and succeed. Dr. Duckworth says, instead of seeing achievement as simply a byproduct of IQ or physical health, good looks, social intelligence, or innate talent, she says achievement is the product of skill and effort. As in a mathematical equation, achievement equals skill times effort, in the same way that we understand distance equals speed times time. And also says that what we accomplish eventually in our life may depend more on our passion and perseverance than our own innate talent. Talent doesn't make you gritty, as many talented people do not follow through on their commitments. She summarizes that passion and perseverance are the common denominator of excellence by establishing long-term goals with a sustained motivated work ethic and accepting that this approach to achievement is earned over the course of a marathon rather than a sprint mentality. So some food for thought on these intangible topics of passion, perseverance, grit, finishative, I hope serve as underlying themes that are relatable to you as a transfer student along the pathway and pursuit of achieving a higher education in the form of a bachelor's degree at Saginaw Valley State University. Throughout my career working in the Office of Admissions at SVSU, predominantly with potential transfer students like yourself, I've noticed some patterns and some similar characteristics that are associated with the transfer student population. Two words come to mind real quick, in that transfer students are complex and also unique at the same time, in that no two transfer students are the same. And the transfer students have prior life and learning experience, and they each have their own story to share of what has brought them to this point within their educational pathway. Transfer students have contrasting age ranges. They've navigated sometimes a nonlinear pathway, maybe having attended multiple institutions at varying level. Some have gone to community colleges, some have gone to four-year institutions, colleges, universities. They've attended at varying levels of pace. Sometimes they're part-time enrolled versus full-time enrolled, likely due to the fact that more often than not, life responsibilities outside of the classroom take priority. I get it. Transfer students are multitaskers, pragmatic, and resourceful, and they arrive prepared with a plan for their education and their future. Transfer students desire efficiency, convenience, sound academic advising within their curriculum so they can efficiently progress, and you value outcomes. And furthermore, why do college students transfer institutions prior to earning a bachelor's degree? According to Ruffalo Noel Levitz, a leading consulting firm in higher education, they list some of the possible reasons why a student transfers institutions, such as cost and financial assistance, major field of study being available or not available, academic reputation, athletic opportunities, campus location in relation to their home, their learning environment, and the support mechanisms available or not available on a given campus. And to summarize, typically, transfer students know what they want, or more so have identified what they don't want, and that their current institution is not satisfying their needs. One of the most common questions that I'm asked of by potential transfer students is, will my credits transfer? It's a big deal. I get it. You've invested a lot of time, effort, money into this point, and you want to get a sound return on your investment. I get it. But I respond back to these students and say, you really should be asking, how will my credits transfer? Not if, but how will my credits transfer? And let me tell you why. You have to understand that higher education in the state of Michigan is decentralized and autonomous. And what I mean by that is there are multiple institutions of higher education in the state of Michigan. There are 15 public universities in the state, many more privatized institutions at the four-year level, and an assortment of community colleges as well too. You have to understand that equitable value among completed credit hours can vary by receiving institutions. They really can. Every college operates unto themselves. That's being autonomous. Every college is kind of like its own country in a way. And applicable value of credits, such as credit being received as an equivalent transfer credit, versus an elective transfer credit, or credit that could be devalued totally and transfer for no credit into our institution or any institution. That is something that students have to understand, the playing field that they're on when they are transferring in and out of institutions in a decentralized state like Michigan. Overall, SVSU, the maximum credit hours that can be accepted from a 2-year institution for an undergraduate degree program is 62. The maximum amount of credits accepted from all sources from an undergraduate degree program is 93. We do have some articulation agreements that kind of stray from these rules a little bit, but these are the primary rules of how much credit could be brought into SVSU. As a great piece of advice and a kind of like a moment of zen, I guess, in a way, is that I tell transfer students that have us on their radar to begin with the end in mind as a best practice, and that early intervention and reaching out to the destination university of where you see yourself earning your bachelor's degree at is really what you should be doing. So tuning into today's presentation is a really good thing. And again, another plug to schedule an individualized admissions virtual appointment at svsu.edu/visit. We wanted to help you to discuss your transferring scenario in further detail. You have to remember, and I get it, like I said, your credit hours are your currency. And the big X factor, like we've been talking about, all these variables, the X factor is what is the applicable nature of your transfer credits? How are they going to be received by SVSU to be combined with your remaining SVSU degree requirements? That's the big X factor in all of this. And along the way, we're going to try to convert this initiative into finishative. So again, we do highly encourage you to schedule an individualized admissions virtual appointment to meet with a transfer representative like myself. During these unprecedented times, SVSU has persevered in the face of a challenge like none that we have ever experienced before with COVID-19. Our ability to adapt against external forces with resilience to safely welcome our Cardinal community back to campus demonstrates the passion that we who call this place our home can be felt by anyone who steps foot onto this special place that is uniquely SVSU. We encourage you to review SVSU's NEST plan, which is a comprehensive overview of how this university is providing and adapting to recommended safety protocols at the federal, state, and local level to establish new expectations for a safer tomorrow and creating a culture of compliance to keep everyone safe. So, to reassure you, SVSU is open and operational. Things may look a little bit different, but as Cardinals, we are all in this together. All right, you still with me? We're almost there. We're coming into the home stretch, I promise. But we do need to talk about a couple other variables for the prospective transfer student audience that are pretty important. We're going to talk about now how to transfer into the university and when to transfer into the university. And really, it's a unique scenario for every transfer student, because again, every transfer student is unique unto themselves. So, how to transfer? It all begins with an application, and you can find the undergraduate domestic transfer application at svsu.edu/apply. Fairly straightforward. No essay involved, no letters of recommendation required. But for supplemental documents that you do need to supply with your application you do need all official collegiate transcripts from your academic past or your current academic history. They must be issued directly to SVSU through the National Student Clearinghouse. This includes even collegiate dual enrollment credits that you might have done in high school. That's becoming a more popular thing nowadays. This also includes AP test scores, IB scores, CLEP examinations, even a military JST. All of that information needs to be supplied to SVSU directly so that credit hours could be interpreted for transfer. Also included, proof of high school graduation must also be submitted to the SVSU Office of Admissions, and that can come in the form of a high school diploma, that can come in the form of a final high school transcript, or GED as well. Also important, you want to send your FAFSA to SVSU. Our federal school code number is 002314. Now, when to transfer? Again, that can really vary depending on your transferring scenario. You can apply to SVSU at any point in the year. You may apply up to 1 year before your intended start term, We strongly recommend that you apply at least by the time you begin your last semester or quarter at your present college or university. Sometimes, depending on what your selected major is at SVSU, might involve a higher tiered application that is required in advance, sometimes up to a year in advance. So again, you want to reach out to a transfer representative like myself to kind of feel out, when should you be transferring to the university, to get a gauge on things. And just remember that transferring is a process. So you want to be prepared. Again, begin with the end in mind type of mentality. You don't want to be doing this process at the last minute. So again, give yourself a little bit of buffer time to prepare yourself for the transfer. Moving on now to transfer admissions requirements. Let's talk about admission to the university, to the general population of SVSU. Overall, you do need to have at least a cumulative 2.0 GPA. If you've attended multiple collegiate institutions, we would then calculate a cumulative GPA from all of your institutions combined to help determine admission. In the scenario, if you are attempting to transfer into SVSU with less than 24 collegiate credit hours completed, our office will require submission of a final high school transcript with a final high school GPA posted and any ACT or SAT scores if taken. Once all your transfer application supporting documents are received and reviewed by our office, a decision can then be made on your transfer application to determine admission, and notification of that decision would then be sent your way. Just a note that some competitive entry majors may have a higher GPA requirement and or prerequisite courses that need to be completed at a qualified passing grade by definition of a given program department beyond the general university admission to get into the general population. So be sure to check the SVSU catalog and your program curriculum. I do want to make mention that transfer student resources for SVSU are only a click away. We do encourage you to visit our newly designed transfer student hub at svsu.edu/transfer. It's designed for you, the prospective transfer student. It collects and consolidates information from multiple SVSU administrative offices that transfer students will interface with. Also, information about our transfer equivalency webpage is available at transfer.svsu.edu. It allows you, the prospective transfer student, to see how credits completed elsewhere would be received by SVSU. This includes all the Michigan public universities and community colleges in the state. If you do not see your college or institution listed on our transfer equivalency webpage, please just email admissions@svsu.edu and we can follow up with you in that manner. Also, transfer guides are available that are major specific, built for vertical transfer from a sampling of Michigan community colleges into SVSU, and also our transfer policies and resources, such as our FAQ, articulation agreements, our policies towards the Michigan Transfer Agreement, also known as the MTA, our policies on AP, IB, CLEP, dual enrollment, military JST, and also the Michigan reverse transfer process. Another common question that I receive from potential transfer students is, well, how much is this going to cost? And that's a legit question. And I can tell those students that it really will vary, dependent on how many credit hours that you are taking on per semester and what level of credits you are taking on per semester, depending on what major you're going into. You got all that? Those are a lot of variables. Not every transfer student is full-time enrolled. Sometimes they're part-time enrolled, 6 or 7 credit hours. Some are over full-time at 15 or 16 credit hours. You have to understand that SVSU assesses tuition balances by the amount of credit hours that you take on per semester, and also by the course rate, depending on whether you're taking a course at an undergraduate level or a professional program course, depending on your major at the 300 and 400 level types of courses. And you can see the listing of those majors that scenario would come into play. So it really does vary. And this is, again, another reason why you would want to schedule an individualized virtual appointment with an admissions representative like myself, so that we can get in the ballpark of trying to estimate a cost of attendance for you and see what the numbers look like. SVSU prides itself in keeping our tuition costs low for our students. In fact, we are the lowest costing public university in the state of Michigan of the 15 public universities. 90% of current SVSU students received financial assistance other than loans. SVSU offers more than $18 million in institutional aid each year. Over 1,000 private scholarships are available to apply for, including transfer student scholarships at svsu.edu/scholarships. 25% of SVSU students graduate with no debt at all, and $1 million equals the lifetime earnings of a college graduate overall. For more information, please visit svsu.edu/financial aid. Empowering degrees plus extraordinary faculty plus a practical experience equals an affordable opportunity at Saginaw Valley State University. We've reached the end. How's that for finishative, right? Thanks for joining me today for the past 20 minutes, and I hope you gained insight about the transfer process to SVSU. Lots of information, a lot of variables within, as you have seen, but I encourage you to take the initiative and apply to SVSU as a transfer student. I do encourage you also to connect with the Office of Admissions to schedule an individualized virtual appointment so that we can assess your transfer scenario in further detail, to talk about your passion, to persevere and achieve. Transfer students are gritty, and you can safely take that as a compliment. My name's Jeff Zulauf, Assistant Director of Transfer Operations, signing off saying, stay safe out there, and as always, it's a great day to be a Cardinal.